Hey, what's up everybody? This is Justin with SCENTS. Today I've got a list of fragrances I'm about to take on a trip with me. We're going on a cruise to some tropical islands for my 20th wedding anniversary, my wife's 40th birthday. And so these are 10 fragrances that are absolutely perfect for vacation. Whether it's a beach vacation, whether it's just a sort of spring break or summery vacation where you're going to be in the heat and you're going to be relaxing, this is a great list. But let me know down in the comments, what would you add to this list? And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. Hit the notification bell so that you'll know as I'm uploading videos every couple days. Here we go. Let's get into this list. First up, we're going to go with a cheapie that is sort of famous for being a great vacation scent. This is a $20 fragrance at all the rack stores, Tommy Bahama St. Bart's. And this one is fantastic. It's kind of like a margarita. You've literally got a tequila note, a salty note, and then you've got some sort of citrusy vibe that'll remind you of like a margarita. You know, it's an eau de cologne, so it's going to last about 4 hours, but it's so cheap you can reapply, you can spray it in your room, on your bed sheets. It's one that just makes a great companion piece for any kind of trip where you're going to be in the heat. St. Bart's by Tommy Bahama. Next up, we're going to go with one that is my favorite in this line that's got, I don't know, a dozen or more fragrances by now. This one is very bright and citric. It's a Beast summer fragrance. This is Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Forever. Now, I haven't smelled Italian Love. I think it's pretty similar to this one, maybe a little less on the rindy grapefruit note. But this is basically like Light Blue Intense with a very powerful photorealistic grapefruit note, a very rindy grapefruit. When I first sprayed this on my hand in a store, I was blown away that this was a designer, not a niche, with such a juicy, realistic, bright grapefruit note. If you like light blue and you like a realistic grapefruit, this one's awesome. It's just a burst of powerful citrus, and the citrus esque fragrance lasts throughout the life. And then you've got a musky dry down. It's a really good one. Next up, we're going to go with one that's kind of an aquatic hype beast at this point because the price is so good. I wore this fragrance yesterday. It's a good performer. It's beautiful. I'm talking about MISSONI Wave. And so what you're going to get in this one, it's been said, it's right in between Versace Signature or Pour Homme and Chanel Allure Homme Sport. Of course, I believe the Chanel came first and the Versace didn't clone it, but did a very similar fragrance. Well, this one to me is a little closer to the Chanel because it's got a little more of that sort of creaminess and sweetness. It takes the edge a little bit off of the Versace, in my opinion, but it's an awesome aquatic fragrance and one that performs well, and you can get 100 ml for, I think, around 40 bucks, 40 to 45, somewhere in there. Next up, we're going to go with, I think, the only niche on this list. This is the first flanker, as far as I'm aware, that MANCERA has ever done. This is Intense CEDRAT Boise. This one is a bright fruit burst. It's a sort of vibrant fruitiness. It's got some citrus, but it's also got some sweet fruits. And then in the dry down, you've got a woody quality. You've got a touch of leather, a touch of oud even. The leather note is increased a little bit from the original, and the oud is an addition. But honestly, you don't get a strong oud. You just get sort of a subtle woodsiness. You get a very slight leather that mixes with a very powerful, bright, citrus fragrance that you're absolutely going to love. Some have compared it to a Ventus. It doesn't smell like a Ventus, but it's definitely in the same family, a similar structure as a Ventus. All right, next up, we're going to go with one that's a clone of a niche fragrance that I used to own, but I got rid of it because the performance was terrible. But this is probably, to me, my favorite beach or pool fragrance. It's a clone of Juliet Has a Gun Vanilla Vibes. This one is just called Aquatic Vanilla by Dossier. Now, I bought this, I paid for it myself, and I can tell you this is very, very similar, probably 90% similar to Vanilla Vibes. The difference is this one performs like a beast. I mean, this is probably a 10-hour fragrance, maybe more. I can spray it on myself and I'll still smell it the next morning. I can spray it on clothes and it'll be on it for a solid 24 hours. What you're going to get with this one is a little bit of sort of a sun tanning lotion vibe, sometimes called solar notes, with a vanilla. So this is a vanilla fragrance that's made for summer, and the vanilla is absolutely awesome. It's got some vanilla. It's also got a little bit of a resinous sweetness, and it has a coconut, but the coconut is light and subtle. It's not sort of a plasticky, sort of fake smelling coconut. It's just enough to add to that awesome beachiness of the fragrance. And man, this is a great one. If you get it on the Walmart app, you can get free shipping, and it's a $29 fragrance. All right, next up, we're going to go with another one that is made for a tropical vacation. Even the name will give it away. I'm talking about Tahitian Waters by English Laundry. I love this fragrance. This is a bright tropical fruit centered fragrance, but it's also got, I believe, a vetiver note. I don't know if vetiver's listed in the notes they give you. It might be, but a sort of slightly grassy vetiver note. And you've also got a sugar note in this one. So imagine tropical fruits, some sugary sweetness, and vetiver or some other grassy note like that. And this is a pretty long-lasting fragrance. For the fragrance profile it is, you'd think 5-6 hours. It's more like a 7 or 8 hour fragrance on me. This is a tropical beach vacation in a bottle. Tahitian Waters. I think it's the best English laundry scent, at least out of the 4 or 5 that I've smelled. Absolutely love it. And you can get those if you find them at the rack stores for $20. English Laundry is a great designer house. They're $100 retail, but at the rack stores, $20 when you can find them. All right, next up, we're going to go with one by Jimmy Choo. This has been called Iced Lemonade in a Bottle. This is Jimmy Choo Man Ice. It's got a pretty significant similarity to Dior Homme Cologne, and I am wearing this fragrance today. It really does smell like an iced lemonade, but it also has a splash of orange that's going to be in there, and something that reminds me of vetiver, although I don't think vetiver is in the note breakdown. You know, maybe it's in my imagination with the last two, but something definitely vetiver-like in the fragrance, and surprisingly, for a citrus-based fragrance, you know, heavy on the lemon, a little bit of orange, this is also a good performer on me. It's like a 7-hour fragrance. It's also super cheap. This is the 1.7 ounce bottle. You can get it for under $20 on the discounters, and it's going to get you really close to Dior Homme Cologne, which is $100 plus. All right, the next one. This is a pretty youthful scent, but I absolutely love it. This is SoCal by Hollister. And so this is sort of a sweet vanilla coconut. It's actually quite different from the Dossier, very different from the Dossier, although you would think they would be similar. This one has something in it that reminds me a little bit in the opening of like a rubber note. I don't know what that is. Some people get that with Amen by Mugler and other fragrances, but something that's a little bit of a rubber note in the top, which I really like. And then you've got this vanilla that's not overly sweet, and then you've got a coconut. This one is handled, rather than being sort of a solar notes kind of deal, sunscreen vibe like the other one, this one is just sort of a sweet, you know, maybe like a party fragrance with vanilla and coconut being the standouts. This is a really good one. Also pretty inexpensive and awesome for a beach vacation. All right, this next one, this is another aquatic scent. It's got some bubblegum sweetness, but it's also got sort of an ozonic, airy quality that reminds you of Invictus Aqua, although this one did come out before Invictus Aqua. This is RASASI HAWAS. It's similar to the original Invictus. Just the sweetness in it is. But the thing that's different is this one's got that airy aquatic, the aquatic notes jacked up, that airy ozonic quality. and it still has that bubblegum sweetness. Another good performer, probably an 8+ hour fragrance on me, and one again that you can get at a good price, around $45 lately as I've seen it popping up. All right, this is number 10, and this is one that's a clone of Creed's Millesime Imperial. This is one that's very beloved in the fragrance community for good reason. It's a compliment getter, and it's just a great pickup from ARMAF. This is Club de Nuit Milestone. Some of these ARMAF fragrances have a very realistic ambergris note in them, which is from ambroxan, but that sort of sweet, I call it a chewy kind of sweet woodiness that I absolutely love, but it's also got this kind of melon note in the opening with some other fruits. It's not overly sweet, but it is fresh and it's fruity, and it's got that ambergris fragrance in it that's a little bit salty. It's again a great beach fragrance, a great summer and spring fragrance. So that has been 10 that I'm taking with me on this trip. I'm going to have like a separate bag for my fragrances, but many of you understand that well. What would you add for a summer vacation, spring break type vacation? And again, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I've got videos coming out every couple days, and I hope that you'll join us. I'm Justin. This has been Sillage Scents. Thanks.